Hello everyone, so welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over an update of the arms and everything, the whole deal with them, the whole backstory and what happened, and progress as to where we're up to with them now. So originally this started out with me playing Doom 2016 for too much in about, I'd say February 2020. What happened was I'm there just, going away with my mouse and keyboard, moving around and playing, and I did this for hours on end, and what ended up happening was I ended up not keeping track of time, and I think it was more than about 5 or 6 hours non-stop, no breaks or anything, repeatedly trying to beat my friend's arcade score on Steam, and it ended up with me not able to rotate this hand at all like this, and this one was feeling pretty bad as well. Both of them, I couldn't really move these last two little fingers, and it ended up with me just not being able to use my hands without it hurting. So, of course, then I put them in splints. Because of the pandemic, I can't really go to a doctor's, and they can only give me so much information over a telephone. So, of course, then I'm kind of stuck in this situation where I have to self-medicate, and I don't normally tell people, self-medicate. Normally I like going to the doctors, but in this case, it was the only thing that I could do. I'm there trying to look all over the place as to what this could be, whether it is heavy RSI or whether it's something else, what could happen, potential repercussions, It got me in a really, really bad place where I was really depressed because there were some articles that were basically like, your hands will never go back to the same way they were again. And that was worrying because I already suffer from other conditions that basically make me disabled. And this was really something to top it off because it would have made me like fully disabled. And so, of course, I start looking around. I splint my hands up. I take pain medication. I put ice packs on. I try not using them. So, over the course of about a year, I just have no hands. I'm sat on the sofa repeatedly watching like different animes, or I'm reading books. And sure, that's fine, but I couldn't do anything else, and it was really upsetting, especially because I love doing gunplay. I love playing video games. It was a case of I've just got to cut all of that out. So, of course, for that year, I didn't do any content. I didn't do any of my game development. No coding, no 3D modeling. I didn't, obviously, play any video games, so I just cut everything out. All the fun stuff was just gone. And then, of course, about, I'd say 6 months down the line, when I'd had stuff splintered up for quite a long time, I started getting pains back in my hands a little bit more. What happened was it gradually went a little bit better. Not too much. I started getting a little bit of rotation in the wrist, but it was still really painful to the point where I started ringing up the doctors more and trying to arrange physiotherapy or whatever. And it ended up with every other doctor or physiotherapist basically saying, I've done the right thing, I've taken painkillers, I've splintered them up for a long period of time, but in particular they said, because I've splintered them up for that long, it might be that the lack of motion in them is now causing them to hurt even more. I need to get them moving again. So, of course, then it's a case of, okay, I'll start trying to do things on a very, very slow, progressive basis where I'll build things up. So, of course, I start doing a little bit of typing, and that hurts a lot for like an hour at a time. So, I end up coming on the computer a little bit, but still, just like watching stuff, reading things, and at least it was better than where I was at. This was about 6 to 7 months in. About 8 to 9 months in, I've got a lot more rotation in this wrist, and this hand's feeling a lot better. So of course, then I start trying to do more. I start trying to actually go back and do my coding that I've been missing out on. I start trying to actually talk to people again and trying to get back into things and start probing to see what my current limits are, because I don't know whether I can play games or whatever else. I'm trying to take this incredibly slowly so I don't damage my arms permanently, or at least not any more than they have been, bit like that then, that one. So yeah, anyway, after about between 9 months to a year now, I think, is when it's been the best that it can be, because I've hardly used them. I let them rest. I took the splints off. I'm still using like ice packs and things now and again, but as you've noticed from a lot of my most recent stuff, I'm doing a lot more. Like, I'm streaming a lot more, I'm able to play a lot more, which is great because it's slowly going back to how it was. It's still there. I'm still having the problems. Not so much with the rotation on this one now. It's mainly just pains in the ulnar side of my hands here, where the little fingers are. But what's been happening is I've been testing my limits to see what I can play still and for how long, and immediately if it starts hurting, I'll come off. It's a lot like the other condition that I have that leaves me disabled. I've got to test the waters with that to see how long, I can go without being affected by it, and then work around that. So it's another thing I have to work around. I'm used to this kind of thing, but I'm glad that everybody, has been there for me and shown support and concern, because a lot of people have been keeping an eye on me to make sure I don't go, overboard, and that I don't go back to where I was, where I didn't have any hands whatsoever. It's been a really, really depressing point where I thought literally I was not going to have any use of my hands ever again. I like the way that I'm working up to things now. Everything feels a lot better, especially with me doing weights recently, where I do, like the usual curls, like either like this or, independently. Or I do laterals where it's going like this, or I'll do verticals where I'm just lifting above my head, or occasionally I'll just sort of do this with the weights. Like sort of like a running motion with your arms. That's really cool. That helps a lot. And I do a lot of repetitions of those per day. So of course, then I'm getting strength back in both my wrists and my, like my forearm. So it's really good for me. Really enjoying this right now, especially, because my time limit on this is going up. It all more or less depends on what I'm doing still, but I'm able to actually enjoy myself and go ahead and play different games and, make gunplay again. And it's just so much better. Again, I still don't recommend self-medicating, but I was left with no choice in this situation. I'm just glad that things have improved and keep looking like they're improving. I'm slowly being able to progress the time limit that I have and go further with this and play for longer, obviously. So I feel like I'm still building that up and getting there. It's going to take quite a long time. I've got to keep the weight training up, obviously. But now that I know what helps and how long I can go for, and just increasing that with each time I'm doing weights and things to help out and make sure I don't push past my limit, that's great. I'm really enjoying it. And as a result, we've been able to do more projects. We've been able to actually go back, or rather, I've been able to. You've been able to come with me on this journey, which has been very depressing. But we've started doing streaming again, which was a pain in the ass because I was not in the right mental state after all of this, as you can imagine. So going from like really depressed to trying to be open and outwards with everybody and be a streamer again, it's been pretty hard. I've been through a rough time, and I've had a load of other personal things in the background that have been getting me down as well. So I've had to restructure everything. So that's been one hell of a mess. But I've gone back to coding. I've gone back to doing my own personal video game work. I've gone back to helping other people with their work, which has been really fun. I've been doing gunplay again, and obviously, like playing games on the side. So things are looking up. Hopefully, if I keep this up, like I said, things will improve even more, and I'll get use of my arms more. I like seeing that progress rather than what I was seeing before, which was hardly anything up until about 8 to 9 months. But yeah, I'm happy now, really happy that we're finally getting there, and we're finally making some progress, because it's really stupid to think about the fact that I already have, like I said, one disability that leaves me without use of my legs for a while, and then to also lose use of my arms. That was it. I was in such a bad place. Anyway, that's an update on where we're at now. Doing a lot of fun stuff. Thanks for all the continued support. It's been great. I really appreciate it. I also really appreciate those people that were looking out for me this entire time. Because don't get me wrong, right? I didn't want to go back, and I know a lot of people were really afraid of that and be like, dude, you really need to stay on top of this and just be careful of what's going on. People were constantly saying, like, dude, you need to come off now on whatever game you were on, or you need to stop doing this. And I actually appreciate that, because not many people will do that for me or are doing that. And the people that are genuinely are looking after me and looking out for my best interests. So thank you very much if I've not already said that to those individuals. Specifically, I think it's Exram, Nugs, John, and I think it was Ion, Dragux, and Momo. If I remember rightly, Momo was in there as well because of some of the other stuff that I've been testing out. There have been some questions raised, as to certain things I've been playing. Like, for instance, I tried Tekken at one point just to see whether I could play that. Yeah, I can, for an hour. An hour or so without it really affecting me. So that's good. I understand the whole thing of, like, you shouldn't go crazy because otherwise you risk going back to square one. But the thing was, I was just for a little bit, just to see what would happen. Because I don't know where I'm up to progress-wise. If I don't test out different things, I have to test intensive things like that. If only for a little bit, just to see what's happening. So it's a case of, it's going to look bad to some people, with me doing stuff like that. But it's just testing my limits to see what I can and can't do in a kind of safe way. And I've always taken that approach, especially I established this early on with people, which was the moment it feels bad, I'm off completely. So if it starts hurting or feeling unnatural like it shouldn't do, because I'm recovering, immediately come off. So I've always stuck to that, and that rule has been established quite early on by people that actually were looking out for me. So I've always wanted to keep that rule there, just to make sure I don't go overboard. So it's been a long road to get back to where I am now, but thank you to everybody. Hopefully I'll keep improving. I'll keep doing videos like this in the future to keep you guys updated. And yeah, hopefully in future we'll make some more progress. So, until next time, I'll see you then. Bye!